The sky above the mining colony of Orcs 9 was always filled with dust. Golden light from the old star spread through the air like soft smoke. People here lived quiet lives, digging minerals and trading them for food and supplies. Ships came and went, carrying ore and workers. To most people, it was a normal day in the outer system. For Rin, every day felt almost the same. He woke up early, washed his face in cold water, and watched the big window in his small home for the bright silver shape of his mother's ship. When the sky shimmered, he always hoped it was her. Rin's mother, Mara, was not like the other parents on Orcs 9. She did not work in the mines or the trade stations. She worked for the Galactic Authority. No one on the colony really understood what her job was. Some said she repaired stars. Others said she commanded a ship that handled dangerous missions. Rin did not care what they said. To him, she was simply Mom, the person who smiled when he waved, who brought small gifts from other worlds, and who listened carefully when he talked about his day. When Mara came home, she always looked strong and calm. Her hair was tied back, her uniform neat and shining. The neighbors respected her. Soldiers saluted when she passed. Even the mayor of the colony once greeted her with a small bow. Rin did not understand why adults treated her that way. She was kind, gentle, and soft-spoken. It was hard to believe that such a person could make anyone afraid, but fear followed her name. When people whispered, they called her the Planet Breaker. Rin once overheard two miners talking at the market. One said, "That woman could destroy a world with one order." The other shook his head and said, "Then may we never stand in her way." Rin felt angry when he heard that. His mother smiled at everyone. She helped neighbors repair broken doors and gave fruit to hungry children. How could they say something so strange about her that evening? Mara returned home after many months away. Rin saw her ship landing near the colony's edge, glowing with a bright silver light. He ran out of the house, waving both hands in the air. The ship door opened slowly and his mother stepped out, wearing her dark uniform with a silver mark across her chest. He noticed the mark and felt curious. It looked new, like a medal or a symbol. "Mom, you're back," he shouted. Mara smiled and opened her arms. Rin ran to her and she lifted him up with ease. Her eyes looked tired, but her voice was warm. "I missed you, Rin," she said. "You've grown taller." Rin laughed and nodded. "What's that silver mark on your uniform?" he asked. She looked down at the symbol and brushed it gently with her hand. "It's just work," she said. "Nothing you need to worry about." Her tone was kind, but Rin noticed something different in her eyes. They looked thoughtful, almost sad, like she was remembering something far away. That night, Mara cooked his favorite meal, rice with sweet herbs. They sat together at the small table while the soft hum of machines filled the air. Rin told her stories about school, about how he helped his friend build a model ship and how the teacher praised his project. Mara listened carefully, asking questions and smiling. She laughed when Rin tried to imitate his teacher's serious face. After dinner, they sat outside under the dusty sky. The old star shone weakly, but the view of space was still beautiful. Rin pointed at the stars. "Do you go to all of them?" he asked. "Not all," Mara said. "Some are too far and some are too quiet. I go where the authority sends me." "What do you do there?" She looked at the sky for a long moment before answering. "I help keep people safe," she said softly. Rin nodded. That sounded right. His mother always helped people. Later that night, when Rin went to bed, he noticed a red glow spreading across the sky. It was faint at first, then stronger, the window filled with color. He sat up and watched, wondering if it was an aurora or maybe a ship passing through the upper atmosphere. Mara stood at the window too. Her face looked calm, but her hands were tight around the frame. Rin asked what it was. "It's just light from far away," she said gently. "Go back to sleep." He did as she said, but the red color stayed in his mind. The next morning, the colony was full of talk. People gathered at the square, whispering about a world that had vanished from the system charts overnight. A planet near the outer rim was gone, replaced by a cloud of light and dust. The news screens showed an image of the silver insignia of the Galactic Authority. Some workers looked pale, others proud. No one said much aloud. When Rin went to school, his classmates looked at him strangely. One boy asked, "Is it true your mom works for the authority?" Rin said yes, proudly. The boy looked away and whispered to another student. Soon, everyone was watching him, but no one wanted to speak directly. Rin felt something heavy in his chest. At lunch, his teacher showed a recorded broadcast about the destroyed planet. The voice said the operation was done for safety reasons. Rin froze when he saw the same silver mark that his mother wore on her uniform. His hands felt cold. After class, he ran home. Mara was there, sitting at the table, reading reports on a small screen. She looked up when he entered, her expression soft but tired. "Mom?" Rin said quietly. "Was that you?" She turned off the screen and stood up. "Come here, Rin," she said. He walked closer. Mara knelt down so their eyes were level. Her face was calm, her voice steady. "I know what you saw," she said. "Yes, that was my mission." Rin's eyes filled with questions. "Did you destroy that planet?" Mara took a slow breath. "No, not the way people say it. The planet was dying. Its core was unstable. It would have exploded and taken nearby colonies with it. My team broke it apart in a controlled way to stop that from happening." "So you saved people?" She smiled softly. "That's what I try to do." Rin wanted to believe her, and he did, but part of him still felt confused. The word destroy sounded so big, so final. How could something that sounded so terrible also be called saving? That night, Mara tucked him into bed. Before leaving the room, she looked at him for a long time, as if memorizing his face. "Sleep well, my brave boy," she said. "You don't need to worry about my work. It's hard, but it's what I was trained to do." When she left, Rin stared at the ceiling. He could still see that red sky in his mind. The next few days passed quietly. Mara stayed home longer than usual. She helped Rin with his studies, walked with him to the market, and even joined a local music gathering in the evening. People watched her with a mix of respect and unease. She smiled at them all, but Rin could tell she noticed the change. One evening, Rin found her sitting outside again, watching the sky. He sat beside her and leaned against her arm. "Do you like your job?" he asked. She took her time before answering. "I like helping people," she said, "but I don't always like what the job asks me to do." "Then why do you keep doing it?" "Because if I stop, someone else might not care enough to do it right." Rin thought about that. It sounded sad and noble at the same time. As they sat there, a small freighter flew past, blinking its lights in salute. Mara raised her hand and waved. The pilot's signal lights blinked again in reply. Rin smiled. He liked that small act of kindness. "Do people know you're nice?" Rin asked. Mara laughed softly. "Some do, others only see the uniform. But I can live with that." That night, when the stars came out, Rin stood by the window again. He thought about all the worlds his mother might have seen. He thought about how strong she had to be to make choices no one else could. He didn't fully understand her work, but he knew one thing for sure. His mother would never hurt anyone who did not need saving. The next morning, the colony alarms rang for a short time. Only a test, but it made Rin's heart race. Mara came to check on him, smiling as always, calm as ever. She placed her hand on his shoulder and said, "You're safe here. Always remember that." Rin looked up at her and smiled back. He didn't know what the future would bring, but he knew his mother's smile meant safety. It meant love stronger than fear. Even if the whole galaxy whispered about the planet breaker, Rin would always know her as the woman who smiled when he waved. The morning light on Orcs 9 was soft and golden. Rin walked to school, thinking about the talk from the day before. People still looked at him differently. Some smiled politely, but others avoided his eyes. He could hear quiet voices behind him. He tried to ignore them, but his heart felt heavy. At school, the teacher spoke about safety in space. She showed a map of the nearby systems and pointed to the place where the destroyed planet used to be. The room became quiet. The teacher said the mission was necessary to stop a dangerous event. Her voice sounded calm, but Rin noticed she avoided looking at him. He sat in silence, his hands folded on the table. He thought about his mother's words, about helping people. But then he remembered the red glow in the sky. It was hard to connect. The calm woman he loved with the power that could erase a whole world. When the lesson ended, a boy named Toma sat beside him. Toma had always been friendly before, but now he spoke in a low voice. "Is it true your mom broke that planet?" he asked. Rin frowned. "She didn't break it. She saved people. The planet was dying." Toma looked unsure. "That's what the news said, but my father says the authority never tells the full truth. He says they only care about control." Rin stood up, feeling a sting of anger, but he said nothing. The teacher called the class back to order, and Toma looked away. When Rin went home that day, he found Mara sitting in the small garden behind their house. She was wearing simple clothes, not her uniform. Her hair was loose, and her hands were busy trimming the small plants that grew near the fence. She looked peaceful. "Welcome home," she said when she saw him. "How was school?" "It was fine," Rin said, though his tone was quiet. Mara looked at him with care. "Something is on your mind," she said. "You can tell me." Rin sat beside her. "People are saying things about you, about your job. They think you destroy planets because you want to. They say the authority hides the truth." Mara placed the scissors down and looked at the ground for a long moment. "It's not easy for them to understand," she said softly. "Most people see only the result. They do not see what happens before or after." Rin's eyes searched her face. "So what really happens, Mom?" Mara took a deep breath. "Some planets are unstable. They can collapse from inside because of old mining systems or because their core becomes too hot. When that happens, the explosion can reach other worlds. I am sent to make sure that does not happen. I work to prevent bigger disasters." Rin nodded slowly. "So when a planet has to be destroyed, it is already too late to save it." She gave a small nod. "Yes, it is not something I enjoy. But if I do not act, many more lives could be lost. My job is to make the smallest damage possible." He thought about that quietly. Her words made sense, but her calmness surprised him. "Do you ever feel sad when you do it?" Mara smiled gently. "Of course I do. Every mission stays with me. But sadness should never stop you from doing what is right. It should remind you why you must do it carefully." Rin looked at her hands. They were strong and steady, not like the hands of someone who caused harm. He felt proud again, though a small part of him still wished she had a normal job. That evening they went to the market together. The shopkeepers greeted Mara politely, but their smiles were nervous. A few people whispered as she passed. Rin noticed how his mother's posture stayed straight and calm. She greeted everyone kindly and helped an old vendor lift a heavy box. After the market, they walked back through the quiet streets. The sky was turning orange, and cargo ships floated above the colony. Mara watched them with a thoughtful look. "Do you ever want to stop working for the authority?" Rin asked. Mara took a moment before answering. "Sometimes," she said. "But then I remember why I started. When I was young, a nearby planet broke apart without warning. My home lost thousands of people because no one saw it coming. I promised myself I would never let that happen again." Rin listened carefully. He had never heard her speak about her past. "So you joined to help people like us?" "Yes," Mara said softly. "Every time I return home and see this colony safe, I feel the choice was worth it." That night, a small dinner party was held at the community hall. The mayor invited several families, including Mara and Rin. The event was meant to honor the colony's workers. Mara was the guest of honor, though some looked uneasy about it. When she entered the hall, the music paused for a moment. The mayor smiled politely and said, "We are proud to have Captain Mara among us, a protector of worlds." People clapped, though some hands moved slowly. Mara thanked them with grace and took her seat. Rin sat beside her, watching how she spoke kindly to everyone. She told funny stories about space travel and described how stars looked up close. Even those who feared her began to smile. Her warmth reached them, even if they did not admit it. After the dinner, an old engineer approached Mara. "Captain, may I ask you something?" he said. "When you are up there making those choices, how do you keep your heart calm?" Mara smiled softly. "I remember the people I protect. I picture the children playing on safe ground. That keeps me steady." The old man nodded, moved by her words. Rin listened, proud of her strength. Later that night, when they returned home, Rin felt happy. For the first time since her return, he saw people looking at her with new respect. But the peace did not last long. A few days later, a transport ship arrived with new orders. The message came directly to Mara's wrist device. Rin saw her face grow serious as she read it. "Is it another mission?" he asked quietly. "Yes," she said. "Something urgent." "Are you leaving again?" "Tomorrow morning." Rin's heart sank. "You just got back." Mara placed a hand on his shoulder. "I know, my dear. But this is part of my duty. It will not take long." He nodded, but sadness filled his eyes. That night, he could not sleep. He went to her room and found her packing her uniform. The silver mark on her chest plate shone under the lamp. "Can I come with you?" he asked suddenly. Mara smiled kindly. "Not yet. My ship is not a safe place for children. But one day when you are older, maybe you can see the stars with me." Rin sat on the edge of her bed. "Do you ever get scared?" She paused, then said, "Yes, I do. But I have learned that courage is not the absence of fear. It is the strength to do what must be done even when you feel afraid." Rin thought about that. Her words stayed in his mind long after she turned off the light. The next morning he stood outside the colony gates, watching her ship prepare for launch. Workers waved politely as she passed. Rin waved too, his hand high in the air. Mara turned and smiled through the glass. That smile was calm and full of love. When the ship lifted off, the wind blew across his face. The engines left a bright trail in the sky. He stood there until the light faded. Days passed slowly after that. Rin went to school, helped the neighbors, and waited for her messages. She sent short notes saying she was safe and that she would return soon. One night, while he was reading in bed, he received a new message. The screen blinked with her voice recording. "Hello, Rin," she said warmly. "We are near Talon 4 now. It is a peaceful place, but the readings are unstable. We will do everything carefully. I will be home soon. Be good and keep smiling." Rin listened to the message again and again. Her voice felt close, like a hand resting gently on his shoulder. He looked out the window, seeing the same stars she might be seeing from her ship. He wondered if she could sense when he was thinking about her. The next morning, rumors spread around the colony again. Workers whispered about an unstable planet in the outer systems. Rin tried to ignore the talk, but a small fear grew in his heart. He closed his eyes and remembered her smile, the same smile she gave everyone who waved. He told himself she would be fine. She always was. That night he whispered to the sky, "Come back soon, Mom." The stars above twinkled like tiny silver fires, and Rin imagined one of them blinking back in reply. The colony of Orcs 9 felt quieter after Mara left. Rin still followed his daily routine, but the days seemed longer and slower. He went to school, helped his teacher with small tasks, and visited the market in the evening. Everyone still talked about the destroyed planet and the new mission near Talon 4. Whenever someone said that name, Rin felt uneasy because his best friend Leo's family had moved there a year ago. Leo used to send short messages from Talon 4. He would talk about their farms, the open fields, and the shining lakes that reflected the twin moons. He said it was a peaceful place full of kind people. The idea that something bad might happen there made Rin's heart heavy. One afternoon, Rin sat by the communication screen, hoping for a new message from his mother. When the signal light blinked, he quickly opened it. Mara's face appeared, calm but serious. "Hello, Rin," she said. "I wanted to let you know that our mission near Talon 4 is difficult. The planet is unstable, and there are still people who refuse to leave. We are trying to convince them to evacuate. It is not easy, but we are doing everything we can to protect them. I will contact you again soon." Her message ended with a small smile, the same gentle smile that always made Rin feel safe. But this time her eyes looked tired. Rin played the message several times. The thought of people refusing to leave worried him. He imagined his friend Leo's family among those who stayed. He wished he could tell his mother about them, but he knew she was busy and far away. That night, Rin could not sleep. The stars outside his window felt different, as if they were watching him. He whispered, "Please be safe, Mom." The next morning, he went to the communication center after school. It was a small building with long screens showing news from other colonies. He looked for updates about Talon 4. The reports were confusing. Some said the planet might be evacuated soon, While others said people were still resisting, the reporter spoke carefully, never saying too much. Rin asked the officer on duty if he could send a personal message to his mother. The officer smiled kindly and helped him record it. Rin looked into the screen and said, "Hi, Mom, I hope you're okay. Please take care of yourself. If you can, check if Leo's family is safe on Talon 4. I miss you." He sent the message and walked home. The wind was cool and the evening light painted the colony in gold and red. Everything looked calm, but Rin's mind was restless. Later that night, while he was helping an old neighbor fix her garden lamp, the sky flashed with a faint blue glow. People looked up, wondering what it meant. Someone said it was a ship jumping into hyperspace, but Rin knew it was his mother's fleet moving closer to the target. His heart beat faster. Days passed slowly. Rin went about his routine, pretending everything was normal. His teacher noticed he looked tired and told him to rest more. He smiled politely, but said nothing. One evening, a group of miners gathered near the central square. They were watching a broadcast from the authority. The speaker's voice was clear and calm. All citizens near Talon 4 are advised to remain at a safe distance. The Galactic Authority is conducting a stabilization mission. Civilian ships are being guided away from the danger zone. Rin stood among the crowd listening. Some people whispered that the Authority always called it a stabilization mission when they were really preparing to destroy a world. Others said they trusted Mara, the planet breaker, to handle it carefully. Hearing that title again made Rin's stomach twist. He did not like the way people said it, as if it were both praise and fear at the same time. That night, Rin dreamed of Talon 4. He saw the twin moons above wide fields and his friend Leo waving to him from far away. The ground trembled and light filled the sky. He woke up sweating, the sound of wind rushing in his ears. He went to the window and looked at the stars. Everything was quiet, but his heart told him something was happening out there. The next day, a message from Mara finally arrived. Rin opened it quickly. "Rin," her voice said, "I got your message. Thank you for thinking of me. I checked the evacuation lists and Leo's family is among those who were rescued. You can rest now. We are finishing the preparations. I will contact you again when it is over." Relief washed over Rin. His friend was safe, but he noticed something else in her tone. Something heavy and thoughtful. She sounded like someone carrying a great weight. Later, while helping at the market, Rin overheard two traders talking again. "They say Captain Mara is hesitating," one man said quietly. "The Authority wants her to act fast, but she's delaying because of the civilians." The other man replied, "If she disobeys orders, they might take her ship away." Rin felt a cold feeling in his chest. He left the market quickly and ran home. When he reached the house, he turned on the small communication device. There was no new message, only silence. He tried to stay calm, but his thoughts ran wild. What if his mother was in trouble? What if the Authority was angry at her for trying to save people? He wished he could speak to her again, just once. That evening, a strong wind blew through the colony. The lights flickered and the sky turned dark purple. Rin stood outside staring at the stars. Somewhere out there, his mother was making decisions that could change everything. Inside her ship, far away, Mara sat in the command chair, surrounded by quiet officers. Her eyes watched the planet below. It looked peaceful from space, glowing with silver clouds and deep blue oceans. But the readings on the screen showed danger building inside its core. Time was running out. Her second officer said, "Command is asking for confirmation. They want to know if we are proceeding." Mara stayed silent. She looked at the evacuation numbers again. Thousands were safe, but some still refused to leave. She remembered her promise to Rin. She could not let innocent people suffer. "Send one more message to the surface," she said. "Tell them this is their last chance. We will wait as long as we can." Back on Oris 9, Rin stayed up late watching the communication lights. He knew his mother would not leave anyone behind. He knew she would do what she thought was right, even if it meant breaking rules. The next morning, the colony received a broadcast from the Authority. It said that the Talon 4 mission was complete, and that the danger to nearby systems had been removed. The newscaster praised the bravery of Captain Mara and her crew. People in the colony cheered. They called her a hero again, but Rin did not smile. He wanted to hear her voice, not the voice of the Authority. He waited all day for a message, but none came. When night arrived, he sat outside and looked at the stars. Then at last the screen inside his home blinked. He ran to it. Mara's voice came through, soft but clear. "Rin, the mission is finished. It was hard, but we saved many lives. I know you were worried. I will be home soon. Remember, my work may look frightening to others, but I always do it for life, never against it. I love you." Rin listened quietly, tears in his eyes but a small smile on his lips. He whispered, "I love you too." When he went outside again, the night sky was calm. Ships passed high above, blinking their lights in the distance. Rin imagined his mother's ship among them, moving through the stars, proud and steady. The next few days on the colony were peaceful. People spoke of Mara with respect. The whispers of fear faded, replaced by gratitude. Children in Rin's class even said they wanted to be like her one day. Rin felt proud but also humble. He knew the truth behind her smile, the weight she carried, and the kindness that guided her choices. Every evening he looked at the stars and waved. He did not know if she could see him, but he waved anyway. Somewhere far away, Mara might be smiling at that very moment, proud of her son and ready for whatever came next. A week had passed since the mission on Talon 4 ended. The colony on Orcs 9 had returned to its normal rhythm. Miners went back to their work, traders shouted prices in the market, and children laughed as they played in the dusty streets. Yet for Rin, life did not feel the same. Every day he looked up at the sky, waiting for his mother's ship to appear. She had promised to come home soon, but her message had been short and serious. He tried to be patient, but his heart grew restless. One morning, he received a message from the Galactic Authority. It was not from Mara, but from a man with a calm face and a sharp voice. "This is Officer Teller," the message said. "Captain Mara's ship has been called for review. She is required to explain her actions during the Talon 4 operation. Please do not worry. She is safe." Rin listened twice, trying to understand. His mother was safe, but something about the message sounded cold. The words "review" and "explain her actions" echoed in his mind. He knew his mother always followed her heart. Maybe that was the problem. That evening, Rin went to the communication hall again. The operator, an older woman who knew him well, greeted him kindly. "Waiting for another message, dear?" she asked. "Yes," Rin said. "From my mom." She nodded with a soft smile. "You must be proud of her. Everyone is talking about what she did. They say she saved more lives than any captain before her." Rin smiled a little, but he still felt uneasy. "If she saved people, why does the authority need to review her actions?" The woman sighed. "Sometimes the right thing is not the same as the easy thing. Maybe she did something they did not expect." Rin thought about that all night. He remembered how his mother once said that courage was doing what must be done, even when it was hard. Maybe she had made another difficult choice. The next morning, the sky above Orcs 9 glowed bright blue. A message light blinked on Rin's home screen. He ran to it and pressed play. Mara's face appeared, smiling softly. "Hello, Rin," she said. "I wanted to tell you what happened. During the mission on Talon 4, the planet's core became unstable faster than we thought. There were still people on the surface. The authority ordered me to start the procedure right away, but I could not do it while those people were still there, so I delayed the command and gave them a few more hours to escape. It was risky, but it saved many lives." She paused and looked into the camera. "The authority did not approve of my delay. They said it could have caused more damage. Now they are reviewing my decision. Do not be afraid. I did what I believed was right. Sometimes rules cannot see the faces of the people they protect." Rin watched her message again and again. He felt proud but also scared. His mother had disobeyed an order, even if it was for a good reason. He wished he could tell the authority that she was the kindest person he knew, that she always chose to save life, not destroy it. In the days that followed, the colony started to receive more news about Mara. Some reports said she might lose her command. Others said she could be honored for her bravery. The truth was unclear. Everyone had an opinion, and Rin heard them all. At the market, a miner said she took a big risk, but if she saved lives, she did the right thing. Another replied, "The authority does not like captains who think on their own." Rin stayed quiet, holding a basket of vegetables, pretending not to hear, but inside his chest ached with worry. That night he stood by the window again. The stars seemed close, as if they were listening. "Please be safe, Mom," he whispered. "I believe in you." Far away, aboard her ship, Mara sat alone in the observation room. The review hearing would begin the next day. She looked at the stars, the same ones Rin was watching. The silence of space felt heavy. Her first officer, a young woman named Kaylin, entered quietly. "Captain, the crew is worried. The authority might suspend you." Mara smiled faintly. "They might. But I have no regret. We saved those people. That is what matters." Kaylin nodded. "Everyone on this ship stands with you." "Thank you," Mara said. She looked out the window again. Sometimes saving lives costs more than following orders. But if kindness is the price, I am willing to pay it. The next day, Mara stood before the review panel. The officers asked many questions. They wanted to know why she delayed the mission and why she acted against command. She answered each one calmly. "I delayed because people were still on the surface," she said. "I could not begin the process knowing they were there." One officer frowned. "And what if the planet had collapsed before you finished evacuation? Then I would have accepted that risk." "A captain's duty is to protect life, not just to follow instructions." Her voice was steady. The room grew quiet. Even the officers looked uncertain. Meanwhile, on Oris 9, Rin listened to the news all day. The entire colony followed the hearing. People began to speak with pride again. "She spoke the truth," said one man at the cafe. "That woman has more courage than all of us combined." Rin felt his heart fill with hope. Maybe the authority would understand. The hearing lasted 3 days. When it ended, Mara sent one final message to Rin before her return. Her voice was calm but filled with emotion. "My dear Rin, the review is over. The authority has not decided yet, but they allowed me to return home for a short time. I will be there soon. I want to see you." Rin could not stop smiling. He ran through the colony shouting, "She's coming back." The next morning, the colony gathered near the landing field. The silver ship appeared in the sky, shining bright against the pale clouds. As it touched down, the crowd clapped and cheered. Rin ran forward, his heart racing with joy. The door opened and Mara stepped out wearing her uniform, her head held high. Her eyes found Rin at once. He ran to her and she knelt to hug him. The whole colony watched, smiling warmly. "Welcome home, Captain," the mayor said proudly. "You make us proud." Mara nodded with a humble smile. "Thank you. I only did my duty." That evening, the colony held a gathering in her honor. The hall was full of laughter and light. Children asked Mara questions about space, and she told them gentle stories about stars and faraway worlds. Even those who had once feared her now looked at her with admiration. Rin sat beside her, listening to every word. For the first time, he saw his mother not just as a hero but as a person who carried the weight of her choices with quiet strength. Later, when the crowd had gone, Mara and Rin walked outside. The air was cool and the stars shone clearly. They stood together, watching the sky. "Are you happy to be home?" Rin asked. "Yes," she said softly. "Being here with you makes everything feel right." "Do you think the authority will punish you?" Mara looked up at the stars before answering. "I do not know. Maybe they will. But I will not regret my choice. I saved people who needed help. That is what matters." Rin looked at her and smiled. "You always do the right thing, Mom." She placed a gentle hand on his head. "I try, Rin. The universe is big and full of hard choices, but if we keep kindness in our hearts, we can never be truly wrong." The next day, Mara received a final message from the authority. It was short but clear. She read it quietly, then turned to Rin with a peaceful smile. "They decided to remove me from command," she said, "but they will honor my service. They said my actions saved millions and that my record will remain as a model of moral judgment." Rin felt tears in his eyes, but Mara took his hand. "Do not be sad," she said. "This means I can stay home for a while. I can watch you grow, and maybe one day you will take my place among the stars." He smiled through his tears. "If I do, I will remember what you taught me." That night they sat together outside their small home, watching ships blink across the sky. Some lights flashed twice, a signal of respect used by pilots who knew her name. Mara raised her hand in a small salute. Rin waved proudly beside her. The stars seemed to glow brighter as if the universe itself smiled back at them. Mara had made her choice among the stars, and though it had cost her much, she had gained something greater: the trust and love of her son, and the quiet peace of knowing she had always done what was right. The colony of Oris 9 had never felt so lively. After Mara returned, the streets were full of people going about their work, chatting happily and helping each other. Even the quiet corners of the market seemed brighter. Ships passed overhead, blinking signals in greeting, and children ran through the alleys laughing freely. The colony was alive, safe, and calm, and Rin felt a sense of peace he had not known for weeks. Rin woke early that morning, excited to spend the day with his mother. He had missed her so much while she was away, even when she sent messages from far across the stars. Now, seeing her walking beside him through the market, he felt like nothing could be wrong in the world. People stopped to greet Mara, some bowed slightly, others waved their hands, and children smiled as she nodded kindly at them. Rin felt proud watching his mother smile at every single person, always patient, always gentle. Even though she was known as the Planet Breaker, here on Orcs 9 she was just Mom, the woman who cared and listened, who laughed at jokes, and who made everyone feel safe. "Do people really fear you, Mom?" Rin asked quietly as they walked together. Mara looked down at him and laughed softly. "Some do," she said, "but fear is only because they do not understand. Most of the time I just want to help. That is the part they rarely see." Rin nodded, thinking about all the stories from the other colonies. He thought about Talon 4 and the families who had been saved. He thought about the authority and the review hearing that had caused him so much worry. But now it seemed everything had settled. Later that day, they returned home and found a small group of neighbors waiting outside. They had brought gifts of fruits and flowers, thanking Mara for her service and for protecting their lives. Rin watched his mother accept their thanks with a quiet smile, her eyes gentle and full of warmth. As the sun dipped toward the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange and pink, Rin asked, "Mom, do you think the people out there in space know you care about them?" Mara looked toward the stars, her face soft in the evening light. "I hope so," she said. "Even if they do not see it, every decision I make is because of them. That is what keeps me going." Rin thought about that quietly. He wanted to understand more about her work, but he also knew it was complicated. Some things were too big for him to imagine. Still, he felt proud that his mother always chose life, always chose kindness, and always put others first. That night, the colony held a small celebration in Mara's honor. People gathered in the central square, sharing food, music, and stories of the faraway world she had visited. Children asked her questions about space, and she answered each one with patience. She told them stories of stars, colorful planets, and ships gliding silently through the galaxy. Her words painted pictures so bright that even the adults stopped to listen. Rin stood beside her, listening, smiling, and feeling proud. He realized that her strength was not just in the way she saved planets, but in the way she inspired people, how her courage gave others hope. She had made hard choices, faced authority, and risked discomfort for the sake of kindness. And yet, she remained gentle and loving, the same woman he had always known. After the celebration, Mara and Rin walked outside to the small hill overlooking the colony. The sky was dark now, dotted with millions of stars. Ships floated above, blinking lights in a slow, steady rhythm. Rin raised his hand and waved, and Mara lifted hers in return. The stars seemed to twinkle back at them, and the wind carried a quiet sense of calm and promise. "Do you think the stars notice us?" Rin asked, his voice soft. Mara smiled. "I do not know, but I like to think that they do. That they watch us and that they see the love we share, the choices we make, and the kindness we carry." Rin looked at her closely. Her eyes held the calm strength that had guided him through so many anxious nights. Her hands rested lightly on his shoulders. "I want to be brave like you, Mom," he said. Mara bent down slightly, brushing his hair back from his face. "You are already brave, Rin," she said. "Courage is not just about doing big things. It is about facing your fears, caring for others, and standing up for what is right. You have that in your heart?" Rin smiled, feeling the truth in her words. He wanted to grow up to be someone who could make hard choices and protect those he loved. And he knew that watching his mother had taught him more than anyone else could. That night, as Rin lay in bed, he thought about all the worlds his mother had seen, all the people she had saved, and the choices she had made. He imagined her standing among the stars, calm and steady, her mind full of kindness and care. Even though she had a job that many did not understand, Rin realized that her true power was in her heart, not her abilities. Days passed peacefully on Orcs 9. Mara spent time helping in the community, repairing broken machines, teaching children, and sharing her stories. She also spent quiet moments with Rin, teaching him how to read star charts, how to notice small details in space, and how to think carefully before making decisions. One evening, Rin and Mara sat outside their home, the sky dark and filled with stars. A small freighter passed above, blinking twice in salute. Mara raised her hand and Rin waved proudly beside her. He felt a warmth in his chest that he could not describe. "Mom," he said, "do you think people will ever understand why you do what you do?" Mara looked at him with a calm smile. "Some will and some will not. That is okay. We do not act for their understanding. We act because it is right. That is all that matters." Rin thought about all the whispers, all the stories, all the fear and respect people had for her. He realized that her work would always be a mix of awe and mystery. But he also realized that the people who mattered most, him and those she had saved, understood her. The next morning, a small beacon appeared outside their home. It was a signal from Mara's last mission, a simple device she had left behind to communicate with those she saved. It blinked slowly, repeating a quiet message. Rin recognized her words, "Keep waving. I can see you." He ran to Mara and showed her the beacon. She knelt beside him, touching the small device. "Even far away," she said softly, "I can see the people I protect. And even far away, they can know I am here." Rin nodded. He felt a quiet pride and a deep connection to the universe. He realized that no matter how vast space might be, no matter how many worlds she visited, Mara's heart would always remain near those who needed her care. In the days that followed, ships continued to pass the colony, blinking lights in greeting, and people whispered her name with respect. But Rin knew the truth. His mother's greatness was not in the power she held, but in the kindness and courage she carried in her heart. Every evening, Rin waved at the sky, and somewhere far away, he imagined Mara waving back, smiling gently. That simple act, repeated across the vastness of space, was more powerful than any word, any title, any recognition. It was a reminder that love, courage, and kindness could reach across galaxies. Years later, Rin would remember these nights. He would remember the quiet strength of his mother, the choices she made, and the way she taught him that true power was in protecting and caring for others. He would remember her smile, the way it shone brighter than any star, and how it reminded him that no matter how large or small the universe was, goodness could always shine through. And in the skies above Orcs 9, ships still blinked their lights in salute. Children waved. Adults nodded quietly in respect. And Rin, looking up at the stars with his mother beside him, knew that the planet breaker had given the greatest gift of all, the courage to live with kindness, the bravery to make hard choices, and the certainty that even among stars, love and hope could shine forever. The colony was safe. Rin's heart was full, and Mara smiled as she always had because she had done her work with care, and she had done it for life, for love, and for the people she had sworn to protect. The universe might be vast and full of unknown dangers, but as long as she could smile and wave, she would always remain a light among the stars. Rin waved once more, and the stars seemed to shine back. The end.